The Exorcist by William P. Blatty. Dramatized by Robert Forrest. We can talk in here, Lieutenant.
Yes, indeed.
Carl will be here in a minute. Would you like a drink?
Thank you, Mrs. MacNeil, but no. Not even coffee this time. I kept you too long last time. Far too long. Your daughter?
Regan.
Regan, she's still not well. I can tell. It's in your eyes. Forgive me. You haven't been sleeping.
Not much. Lieutenant, if this is more about the night Burke died, I really don't know what else we can tell you.
Burke Dennings. A wonderful director. As English as David Lean and as sly as Orson Welles. Was he as difficult as both?
Burke was a dream to work with. He was gentle and patient and told schoolboy jokes.
But off stage, off the set, relaxing, refreshed.
Yes, when he was drinking, he could be difficult. In fact, well, he could be mean.
It's gossip. It's intrusive.
Who can resist gossip?
Not a lieutenant in the homicide division, but there's something different.
Different how?
How indeed. I got it. The clock. That beautiful clock on the wall. It stopped.
It does that.
It needs rewinding.
I don't think so.
You have to call in an expert.
It's temperamental.
You wish to see me, ma'am?
Yes, Carl, the lieutenant has a few more questions for you.
Details only, Mr. Enstrom.
I am happy to provide them, sir.
The night Mr. Dennings died, you were at the movies.
Paul Schofield in King Lear. It was excellent.
Well, Schofield is excellent. But the film, never mind. Now, it's to do with time. With the times of your journey home. As exact as you remember.
Carl's times are always exact.
I saw the 6 o'clock showing at the Crest. The film lasts just over 2 hours. I am not sure about the minutes. I took a bus then from the front of the theater to Wisconsin Avenue. 9:20 perhaps. I walked from there to here. I arrived at 9:30 exactly. I remember. I glanced at my watch.
Admirable. Impressive.
Thank you, sir. That is all?
That's all, Mr. Engstrom.
Thank you, Carl.
Right? Every detail fits, like carpentry, like a well-constructed screenplay. At the time of Mr. Dennings' death, you were at the consultation with your doctor, the results of tests for your daughter. Your secretary was at the pharmacy, medication for the same patient. Your servant Carl was at the movies. His wife, your housekeeper, saw a movie that night, too.
Which one of us did you have doubts about?
Now, Mrs. MacNeil, doubt, as you say, it's the job. Sometimes when I don't feel doubt, I have to act doubtful.
Burke was here. He was supposed to look after the place until one or other of us got back. For some reason, he left. He may well have forgotten why he was here in the first place. He was drunk. He fell down the steps out there, all the way down to M Street. Isn't that what happened?
Well, he was not robbed. Those steps are very steep. It's a long, long way to the bottom. But the nature of the injuries, the severity...
Please, Lieutenant, not too much detail. It's all right, really it is.
It was heavy, Mrs. MacNeil.
Oh, yes, a cabinet. I think that's what it was. It must have been. Call him Billy. They're moving some furniture around.
Accidents happen. Mm-hmm. The home is the most dangerous place in the world for accidents. Ah, yes. Temperamental.
It does that.
Well, I'll trouble you and yours no more. Your daughter, I wish her well.
Thank you.
You're keeping her out of drafts like I advised.
Of course.
And you have the best of doctors.
Well, I hope they're the best. They're certainly numerous. But we may have to try another... something new. Someone new.
I am not fit, Father. I am unfit for the work. I'm a priest and a psychiatrist, but I should not be a counselor to these young men.
Damien, you're the most popular counselor the university's ever had.
Yesterday, one came to me with the old question about loving his neighbor. Some of his neighbors are junkie hustlers who would kill for a pair of shoes, let alone a fix.
It is an old question, and you know the answer.
God does not ask of us what is psychologically impossible. The love God demands is not an emotion, it is an act of will. We must act with love. Yes, Father President, I've been trained to know the answers and in how to give them.
It's not like you to sound the cynical note, Damien.
I'm sorry, but I want to transfer. A teaching post, psychiatry in New York if possible. Then I'd be closer to my mother.
I can't decide that alone. I'll have to talk to the bishop, and he thinks very highly of your work here.
Please tell the bishop that I know it as surely as I felt my vocation when I was 18. I should not be a counselor.
And if God, or the bishop, demands that act of love from you...
Father, when they come to me about sex or loneliness, all that I can deal with. But when they come to me with questions of faith, I am not the one to help them. I'm not fit. I can't even meet their eye.
Father, can you help an old altar boy? Enough for train fare and maybe a cup of coffee?
I have about $1.50 on me. I need it for train fare, too.
You could spare a few cents. Charity, Father. Compassion. I'm a Catholic. I swear I am.
I'm truly sorry.
What are you saying? You got nothing but prayers for me? That all you can offer? Our Father, who art in poverty? Ah, look at you. Staring straight ahead. Hey, I'm over here! I'm right here, Father, dying of it all! And a dying man needs a drink? Or help an old altar boy.
Who would have thought you'd turn out a priest? The kind of boy you were?
Mama, we need to stop talking about the past. We need to talk about now, the future.
Hey, good stories in the past. Even when I was out selling plastic flowers on clothes pegs, there was always good stories. Even when you were out breaking windows, breaking heads. Why do you do this, Dimmy? I used to say, why do you do this to me? You remember I used to say that? Still, you straightened out.
That's right, I studied.
And there was all that exercising and running and boxing. Oh, but Jesus save us. The hoodlums that hung out in that gym.
Listen, before I forget, here's a 20. I'll put it here in your purse.
Okay. Keep your eye on the soup. Don't let it boil. You just gotta gently warm it through. No boiling. Mrs. Corelli, 2 flights down. She's gone.
What about our 18 cats? I was sure I could still smell them.
Why do you do this to me, Dimmy? I must have said that 1,000,000 times.
How's your nurse been in this week?
And then that plaque thing appears on your wall.
What plaque?
You don't remember? It was just there one morning on your bedroom wall. What's he stealing now, I thought.
Why would I steal a plaque? What was it?
Big red cross in the middle, writing top and bottom. My brother is in pain. I share his pain.
Dear God.
I meet God in him. I got that right?
I haven't thought about that for years.
See? Good stuff in the past. And now here I am, Mary Karras, and my boy Dimmy is a priest.
I'm a doctor, too.
Kinda.
Yeah. Kind of a doctor.
But an all-the-way priest. And still you managed to burn the soup.
Just keep moving, creep, or I'll call a cop.
Miss MacNeil, I'm Father Karras.
Jesus, so you are. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I should have warned you I wouldn't be in uniform. But you seem to want this meeting to be,
Inconspicuous, yes. Can we walk a little?
Sure.
You're wondering why I asked to meet with you. You in particular, I mean, not just any priest.
Yes, I'm wondering that.
I got your name from Father Dyer. He's a friend of yours, right?
Joe is an excellent friend.
He was at a party of mine.
I know. He told me you'd virtually promised to make him a star. Joe's idea of heaven is a black and white Fred and Ginger nightclub. He's on piano and the angels adore him.
Did he tell you about my daughter?
No.
He didn't tell you what she did?
He didn't mention her. I didn't know you had a daughter.
There was an astronaut there. Regan told him he was never going to make it back from the moon. He was going to die up there. Then she peed on the sitting room floor. Let's sit down. You mind if I smoke?
No, not at all. I'm a smoker myself. Here, let me. It's quite a breeze.
You're kind. There's no breeze. I asked your friend about you because I'd already seen you, noticed you on the campus. You were talking to a younger priest, your hand on his shoulder.
I'm a counselor.
I really noticed you. You looked compassionate, human.
I'm certainly human.
And I know you're a psychiatrist. How does a psychiatrist get to be a priest?
It was the other way around. The Society of the Jesuits, they sent me through medical school, training.
Where?
Harvard, Johns Hopkins, Bellevue.
The best.
We don't take a vow of intellectual poverty.
And how do you go about getting an exorcism? If someone is possessed by the devil or some kind of demon, if that person needs an exorcist, you know?
Yes, I know. And first of all, you'd need a time machine. You'd have to go back to the 15th century.
What do you mean?
It doesn't happen anymore, Miss MacNeil. Not since we learned to understand mental illness, paranoia, hysteria. All the things they taught me at Harvard. Since the day I joined the Jesuits, I've never met a priest, not one, who's performed an exorcism.
It's my daughter. She's 12. She needs an exorcist.
She needs psychiatric care, Miss MacNeil. The best clinic and the best doctors you can
Don't
find.
give me that. Don't give me more of that bullshit. I'm up to here with it. Sick of it. I've been to every goddamn doctor in America, every goddamn psychiatrist. It was one of your head shrink buddies who sent me to you, and now you send me back to them? No. No more. And my daughter, Karras. It's my 12-year-old daughter, and she needs your help. I need it.
Miss MacNeil,
Please. Help us.
If you can tell me about the onset of the illness.
There's something I want you to hear and see. Sharon.
Well, I suppose the first really weird thing was the Ouija board. She'd always play with it on her own, asking Mr. Howdy questions.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Howdy.
Her imaginary playmate, or so we thought.
Another thing that puzzled me was the math. I mean, she'd never been great at it, but now she was just hopeless.
As well as being my secretary, Sharon's a tutor for Regan.
Oh, that's way too good a word. I help her keep up.
Yeah, we move around a lot. Sometimes Regan has to miss school, and of course her father's never around. We're separated. Divorce on the way. Hallelujah. Free at last. But I'm afraid I'll have to keep the name. But the business. It's still Mrs. MacNeil.
I think the doctor said the bad math was to be expected with her condition. That right, Chris? Lack of concentration was a symptom.
Yeah, right. A symptom of her condition, her syndrome. Trouble was, they named a dozen syndromes. None of them explained it all.
Then there was sullenness, tantrums, downright rages sometimes.
Some pretty hefty adult language, but the thing is, Father, it's difficult now to say just when it all started. Things that at the time seemed, well, not normal exactly, but like I heard noises one night, kind of scratching in the walls and the ceiling. I thought it might be rats.
Oh, I hate rats.
We don't have rats, Sharon. When I went into Regan's room, I felt freezing cold. I checked the window, shut tight. I touched her face, her hands, warm and cozy.
Regan was warm, but you felt cold.
So it was my imagination, the neurotic mother?
No, I don't mean that.
Father, the things we've told you so far, they're really mild.
Look, that's Regan, 6 months ago.
She's lovely.
Yeah, well, keep looking while you listen to this. It's a recording she made for her father around the same time.
Hi, Dad. We're in Washington now, and it's a really old place, you know, history. all these monuments and wide avenues and pillars and stuff, and this is really, really weird. I'm all dried up.
Tell them what you've been doing, the places you've been.
Well, we went into this graveyard, and it's as big as a city.
Better stuff than that, Regan.
Oh, yeah. I've been on a horse. Yeah, this huge, great, beautiful horse. The man lifted me up and put me in the saddle. I was so high. It was so amazing and high. It was like I was flying. Can I have a horse, Dad? Mom says maybe next year. What do you think about that?
6 months ago. Jesus.
My boyfriend works at a stable. He was training the horse.
Now come upstairs. Meet her as she is now.
It is quiet now, madam.
Good. Carl, this is Father Karras. Father Carl Engstrom, my right-hand man.
Hello, Carl.
How do you do, Father? It is quiet now, but before it did not want the straps.
I know. You can go downstairs now.
It demanded I remove the straps over and over.
You're a wonderful, patient man.
May I say something, madam?
Of course.
You are going in there, Father?
Well, yes, I'd like to meet Regan.
It says terrible things. It calls me a Nazi. A murdering Nazi. I am Swiss, and I had family in Poland. The Nazis killed them. It tells terrible lies.
All right, Carl. I'm so sorry. Go downstairs now.
Thank you, madam.
Who tells terrible lies?
Regan.
He calls your daughter it.
Not really. You'll go in alone?
That might be best.
All right. I'll wait downstairs. I'll have a drink ready for you. Bourbon, okay?
Hello, Regan.
Hello. Who are you?
My name is Damien. Damien Karras.
It's a funny name.
I suppose it is. I'm a friend of your mother. She says you haven't been well, and maybe I can help.
I hope so. I feel miserable.
Can you tell me what's wrong?
Well, my nose is really itchy, and I can't scratch it. Could you loosen these straps?
I don't think I can do that.
Oh, yeah, you can. It's easy. And I talk better with my hands. I've been in Italy a lot. Rome. I like to make gestures, you know. Gesticulate.
That's a fine word.
Oh, I know tons. Oodles.
But I think maybe you'd hurt yourself. There are marks on your face already. I could scratch your nose for you.
Don't you dare touch me.
All right.
I could promise not to hurt myself. I could promise not to hurt you either.
And do you always keep your promises?
Oh, you got me there. Sly Damien. No, I tell lies all the time.
So I shouldn't believe a word you say.
You can believe this. I'm not Regan.
Then who are you?
I'm the devil.
Well, if you're the devil, can you not just make the straps disappear?
I said I'm the devil and not some cheap magician.
You know, something's always puzzled me. Spirits, ghosts, they always announce themselves with silly tricks. A closet door opens by itself. A chair is discovered in the wrong room. Why not something more spectacular? Undeniable.
Here's a puzzle for you. When Jesus came back from the dead, why didn't he walk into the temple and scare the shit out of the high priest? Or visit Pilate? Can you see his face? What's he gonna do? Crucify Jesus all over again? But no, Jesus just turns up in secret to a few of his numbskull disciples. You call that spectacular?
That's an interesting puzzle.
For a 12-year-old kid. I could read your mind. Would that convince you? When I told that Nazi Engstrom about his club-footed daughter, he believed me. I saw his faith rise like vomit. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Think of a number between 1 and infinity.
No, that wouldn't mean much. I've seen cheap mind-reading acts, too. Tell me this, if you're not Regan, where is she?
In here.
In where?
In the piglet. Oh, is that all you want? Fine. You only had to ask, darling. It is a rather succulent suckling, and I do understand temptation. Just loosen the straps, and I'll up with the nightdress, spread the gams, and you can have a bit of stinky finger, or go the whole hog if you like, rut to your boorish heart's delight, as long as you let me watch. I won't tell the sow, promise.
Who is the sow?
You know damn well, the Hollywood whore, the one downstairs with the tumbler of bourbon in her shaky hands. No, come on. The straps.
But if I undo the straps, that would be an act of charity. Would the devil want me to commit an act of
Feeble, enough. This isn't a Sunday school debating club. Undo the straps. Undo them, or I'll bring the whole damn house down on all your feeble heads. I'll bring the temple down.
Now do it, or I bring the fucking house down. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. You have the face of a choir boy who's been felt up by the Pope. We don't have much to fear from you, do we, my little morsel?
When Jesus spoke about the destruction of the temple,
Jesus! For Christ's sake, Karras, enough already about that Jew boy faggot. The man was a charlatan as well as a pansy.
What's this? The adolescent thrill of blasphemy? Did you do that? Did you?
Sorry, what did you say, Damien dear?
The closet door, did you make it open?
I may have done. My mind wanders. I get weary. It does take it out of a poor demon, this possession business.
So now you're only a demon, not the devil himself.
We're changeable. We're legion. We are many. See, the devil can quote scripture when it suits his purpose.
Isn't that Shakespeare?
What's this? There are as many devils here as slates on the roof.
It's familiar. Here, let me wipe your mouth.
There. Just like we spat on your master. Oh, don't wipe it off. You should wear it with pride. A big, slimy badge of honor. For a priest. Oh, I know what you are, papist. Mumbo-jumbo hypocrite. I can smell it on you. Incense and guilt and piss in your pants. We've nothing to fear from you.
Her facility with language, the precocity, it's extraordinary.
Was it sexual?
Not just that. Biblical allusion, Shakespeare, and Martin Luther, I think. And the extent of her vocabulary well beyond a 12-year-old. Prodigious. But yes, obscenity, blasphemy.
Last week, I found her. I'm not sure I can tell you this.
I need to know as much as I can.
I found her masturbating.
Uh-huh.
This is really shocking, Father.
I'm a priest and a psychiatrist.
She was using a crucifix. Now I know what a Harvard and Bellevue priest looks like when he's had a shock. Have another drink?
No thanks.
Thing is, we don't even know where she got it. No one in the house is Catholic. Sharon and Billy and Carl all swore they'd never seen it before.
I need to know the history, the medical history, who she's seen and what the diagnoses were.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, madam.
Oh, it's okay, Billy. This is Father Karras. He's here to meet Regan.
Hello, Father.
This is Billy, my housekeeper.
Hello?
The vegetables are delivered. May I put them away? Prepare some for tonight?
Yeah, sure, carry on. I'll get you the medical records.
That won't be easy.
I'm a movie star, Father.
Right. What tranquilizers have been tried?
She's on Librium.
What dosage?
400 milligrams.
400? In a day?
One dose. It was the only way we could get the straps on her. Even then, it took 3 of us.
Is she eating?
Sustogen mainly, through a feeding tube. She was in a clinic in Dayton for a month. They taught us how to use it and give injections. So, what about exorcism?
Miss MacNeil. Sorry, Mrs. MacNeil. I can't try that without church permission, and they have very strict rules. There's a whole list of conditions that have to be met for true possession to be acknowledged.
Like what?
Well, I'm not sure. Speaking in a language she has no knowledge of, knowing things she couldn't possibly. I really have no idea. I'd have to look it all up.
Father, if you brought me Regan's identical twin, or a fairy changeling, same face, same voice, same smell, I'd know it wasn't my daughter. That thing up there is not my daughter.
She said something strange to me about Carl.
He warned you about the lies. Did she mention Burke Dennings?
Dennings, the director? He was killed recently, was he not?
An accident. Those long steps just at the side of this house. He was drunk and he fell. And Regan's talked about him before.
She didn't mention him to me.
She had a kind of obsession about Burke. Thought he was more than my director, more than a friend. Where she got that idea, I do not know, but she had this weird resentment. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
She said something about Carl's daughter.
His daughter? Carl doesn't... Father, Villy here is Carl's wife. You don't have a daughter, do you, Villy?
We had one.
I didn't know that.
We never mentioned her. She died long ago.
I'm so sorry.
It was long ago.
Mrs. Angstrom, did you ever, or do you think your husband might talk to Regan about your daughter?
We never mentioned her.
Forgive me. May I ask one more thing?
Yes?
Did your daughter have a club foot?
Club foot?
Was she born with a deformed foot, twisted in some way? It's called talipes, I think.
No, Father, she was born fine.
Thank you. I'm sorry to ask.
She had the polio when she was 3. After that, the muscles in her left leg, they are weak. But I never tell this to the child. For weeks I tell nothing to that child. I'm not allowed.
Come on, Villy. You know Carl would rather you don't go up there.
Would rather I don't is not it. I'm not allowed.
He thinks it would be too upsetting for you.
I don't mind upset. I want to help.
You do help, Villy, a lot.
And... forgive me, madam, please, but... upstairs is your daughter. Maybe changed, maybe ill, damaged, but not a thing. She is yours.
I'm sorry, Villy.
She was a sweet child, Father. I wish you could have met her.
Yeah, she was quite something. The mother, too. The Hollywood Pixies, they called them. Another drink, Father?
No, thank you, Dr. Klein.
Hey, Mickey, another scotch here. Just the one, but make it large. Did you see that? The Pixie magazine cover?
I don't think I did.
Mother and daughter together. Glossy and grinning. The Hollywood Pixies. Same hairstyle, same toothy grins. Even the same freckles. But in real life, Father, in my real life, do you know what she called her mother? You ball-breaking, shit-faced Babylonian bitch.
Babylonian?
Yeah, rich, huh? Nice alliteration.
And not Tourette syndrome.
Of course not. It's too considered. It's performed. And Mrs. MacNeil didn't tell you about that performance?
No.
Thanks, Mickey. 2 more for the road. I'm out of here. This time, I promise. Did she tell you when I first examined her daughter, she said, just keep your goddamn fingers away from my cut?
She was ill.
She was a very sick girl indeed. And you have my records to prove it, huh? How do you manage that? The church and Hollywood working in mysterious ways?
The church wasn't involved. I had a look at the EEG graph.
Yeah, which was regular.
That's right. You were looking for a lesion or a tumor, some kind of brain damage, but you found nothing. No fluctuation in the graph at all. Isn't that strange in itself?
The whole case was beyond strange.
The girl was already severely disordered when you ran these tests. No sign of brain malformation or injury. So, her symptoms had to be some form of hysteria.
Or heavy drugs. You know, that was my guess. Those 2 are Hollywood to the bone.
But no trace of drugs. So, mental illness, hysteria. It's been found, Dr. Klein, that hysteria, severe hysteria, does show some fluctuation in an EEG graph. Minuscule, odd, but definitely there. Yet every test you ran shows nothing. I've looked very closely.
You know, looking too closely is bad for the eyes and bad for the soul.
Who's that?
It's just me.
So, if not brain damage, not hysteria, what?
I'm thinking about retraining.
Retraining?
As a surgeon. I know I've left it late, but I like to deal with just the flesh and the bone, cutting and sewing, this general practice, this holistic approach, you know. Dealing with the complete person. Well, that means dealing with their minds, their personalities. It means looking at their humanity. You can only look at so much of that.
I remember she had the most remarkable eyes. Their gaze never left me. Even while she was in a trance state, her eyes never fully closed. Never left me.
But you're sure she was in a trance state?
At the time, I was sure. But sometimes I have wondered.
There are two things I wanted to ask you, Dr. Bowden. One is about the personality she displayed under hypnosis.
Father Karras' personality isn't the word. She did sound older, more mature, but the notion Mrs. MacNeil had of another personality having invaded her daughter, like some kind of medieval possession, I wasn't convinced of that for a moment.
This mature voice, did it claim to be someone else, someone inside Regan?
Of course, someone ancient as usual. But I don't believe in reincarnation. Do you?
No.
Only in resurrection. But maybe her performance has grown more skillful since I saw her.
Maybe, and that's the other matter I wanted to raise with you. One of the most astonishing aspects of her behavior is her knowledge, her vocabulary, her linguistic skill. Her talk is full of literary quotes and biblical allusion.
I do marvel at the human brain. It is conceivable that this miraculous, I use the word loosely, Father, not in your specialized sense, this miraculous organ is capable of retaining everything it encounters, all it sees and hears and reads and experiences. All of it may be held somewhere in what Keats called the wreathed trellis of a working brain.
Cryptomnesia.
Just so. And if all this can be retained, in certain circumstances, it may be recoverable.
One circumstance being hypnotic trance.
Is it not conceivable?
But not desirable. I don't think I could allow you to put me into a trance in which I could relive my entire life.
I wouldn't attempt it. I no longer practice hypnosis.
Oh? I didn't know that.
I am still a therapist, but talking cures only. I practice now in a very traditional way. The patient lies there on that couch, and I sit with my back to them and listen. That way I don't have to meet their eyes. I've developed an aversion to meeting people's eyes.
If you're thinking about an exorcism, Karras, will it be in Latin, or are you one of these vulgar modernists?
You prefer Latin?
It is musical. Et nenas inducas in tentationem, sed.
And this is really, really weird. I'm all dried up.
Sed liber nos amalo.
Thank you, Damien. Well done.
Deliver us from evil. Any more?
Looking for signs, are you? Quo vadis, modus operandi, et tu brute. French, 69, la plume de ma tante. German, Donner und Blitzen, Auschwitz, Belsen, Dachau. Cat? Sow? But we really shouldn't be bantering like this. I'm serious now. Not a word of a lie. An exorcism might be a fatal mistake. For you, I mean.
Why?
Because you're not priest enough. You're only kind of a doctor, and you're not man enough.
A kind of a doctor?
It would kill you. I will kill you. I swear by the rusty nails of the cross, I'll destroy you, Karras. So for me, of course, an exorcism is a dandy idea. Get some meat between my canines. Why the tape machine? An interview? Excellent notion. You could make stars of both of us. Damien Karras, celebrity saint, and his lovely sidekick, buxom Beelzebub.
You know what this is, do you? It's holy water.
The Pope's piss. Put it away, Karras. Latin's all very well, but please, not that medieval hogwash.
In the name of the Father,
Don't do that.
and of the Son,
Don't, please.
and of the Holy Ghost. Who are you? What language are you speaking? Tell me who you are.
What the hell is going on?
The microphone.
You're done!
The microphone. Hold it close to her mouth. I'll try to keep her head still.
God almighty, Karras!
Mrs. MacNeil, please do it. It's important.
You're killing her!
She will not die. Trust me. I sprinkled some water on her.
Water? You sure it wasn't acid?
Well, I told her it was holy water. It was tap water.
What's the difference?
Holy water is blessed.
Well, ain't it lucky?
It doesn't help the case for possession. If the mere suggestion of holy water, what else might be mere suggestion?
Suggestion?
Hysteria.
Insanity.
The house is full of books. Is there anything here about possession, about the devil, something your daughter might have read?
Regan liked books about ponies and girl detectives.
Is there anything here?
Well, there was one, but it was about witchcraft research. A movie that was being talked about. It fell through.
Witchcraft. Maybe there was something in it about devil worship, the devil.
Maybe.
Do you still have it?
I haven't laid eyes on it for I don't know how. It does that.
Have a look for the book. And listen, like I told you, one of the acceptable signs of possession, acceptable to the church, I mean, is the ability to speak a language the victim can't possibly know.
That gibberish she was spouting?
It had the cadence of speech. I have a friend in the Institute of Language and Linguistics. I'll let him hear the tape. That's pretty.
The bells of hell go ting-a-ling-a-ling.
Have mercy upon me, O Lord. Consider my troubles which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. The heathen are sunk down in the pit they made. In the net which they made, their own foot is taken. The wicked shall be turned into hell.
That's 3 laps I've watched you run.
I know you have.
You're fighting fit. You box too, Father Karras.
Well, I used to.
I thought so. You have to look where you hold yourself. And the little scar there, it's exactly like the one Brando had in On the Waterfront. Of course, Marlin's was makeup. Made his eye droop a little. A melancholy look. People tell you you look like Brando.
Did they tell you you look like Paul Newman?
Never. But finally, at last, someone has noticed. Thank you, Father.
But you're not Paul Newman, are you?
No. Kinderman, William, Lieutenant.
Detective. What can I do for you?
You can talk to me a little.
About what?
Satanism.
Well, of course. All right, if we walk. I don't want to cramp.
Let us walk and talk together.
The desecrations in the church.
Correct. Obscenities, blasphemies. They were terrible.
So I heard. I didn't see them.
I did, Father. I was sickened. I was angry and sickened. Now, who might do a thing like that? I ask you because you're not only a priest, you're a psychiatrist too. Who could do such a thing?
Someone sick and angry?
Someone involved in Satanism? Devil worship?
It's possible.
Black Mass?
Well, I suppose there were echoes of Black Mass in the desecrations, but even so, you're looking for somebody deeply disturbed, psychotic even. And I think you're looking for a sick priest. One who's angry at the church.
Is it possible?
Of course it is.
And who might know of such a one? Who better to know than a priest who's also a psychiatrist and also, again, a counselor to other priests?
Sorry, Lieutenant, I can't help you.
Because you don't know or because you won't tell?
Well, there is the question of medical ethics, not to mention the secrets of confession.
Not to mention I could have you deported.
Well, your power is greater than mine. I couldn't even excommunicate you. My guess is you're Jewish.
Shalom, Father. Satanism. Psychotic behavior. Maybe ritual murder.
What?
Like the way Burke Dennings was killed.
Dennings? He died in a fall, an accident.
Is that what Mrs. MacNeil told you? She's a lovely lady, is she not? Are you free of the risk of cramp now, Father?
Yes.
Then may we sit down. Lieutenant Kinderman, Homicide Division. I should have said. Oh my. Middle age. Backache, weariness of heart and lungs, what a life. You want to sit down?
Mrs. MacNeil, whom I met through a mutual friend, said Dennings was found at the bottom of those steps beside her house. He'd fallen all the way to M Street.
Correct.
You suspect he was killed?
His injuries, Father, I have them here. And the eyesight, too. Middle age, who am I kidding? I'm old. Ecchymosis of the neck, skin, shearing of platysma, sternomastoid, spleenus, trapezium, and other various muscles, fracture of the spine and shearing of the... Enough? The bottom line, Father. The terrible bottom line. Burke Dennings was found at the bottom of those steps, and his head had been turned completely around. It was facing backwards. I seek consolation more and more.
I have none to offer, unless you convert.
Movies, Father. I seek distraction there. More than that, comfort, delight. Would you maybe like to see a movie with me sometime?
Well...
Free. I get passes. I have them for Thursday night. Flesh and the Devil. Maybe not the best choice.
Who's in it?
Unfortunately, not Garbo and Gilbert. It's the remake. Lucille Ball and Harpo Marx.
I've seen it.
Take this as best you can. You don't look like Brando. You look like Eric Blore. You do not smile.
Neither do you.
Mrs. MacNeil, whom you met through a mutual friend. That was a very formal way of speaking. Speak some more.
But we told the lieutenant that Burke had been in the house that night.
I know it was never a secret.
And all our alibis worked out. Alibis? We don't need alibis, Sharon.
He said the injuries were so severe he couldn't see how even falling all the way down those steps could have caused them.
He said it was impossible.
Not impossible, but highly unlikely.
Then what does he think did cause them?
He said maybe if Dennings had fallen from a height first and then down the steps.
What height?
From the roof of this house or from a high window.
But the only window...
Regan's window?
Father, that window was closed and locked. The shutters, too.
They are always so.
And Burke had no reason to go up there. Unless to jump out the window. Is that what Kinderman thinks?
He thinks, or suspects, or his pathologist does, that Dennings was killed by a very strong man and then thrown down the steps. He talked about enemies, someone Dennings might have offended, abused. He was known to goad people when he was drunk, was he not?
He was a torment to my husband.
That is not important. He was only a drunk Englishman.
He called my husband Himmler, Goebbels, a Nazi.
The things Reagan called you, Carl.
We are Swiss, and you and not very strong. You're strong, but you're not very.
Did anyone ask Regan if Dennings had been in her room?
She wouldn't remember. She was heavily sedated.
This is true. I know because back then I was allowed to see the girl.
Kinderman knows I've been coming here. I just thought I should tell you. He may be watching the place. Having it watched.
Father, forgive me if you'll excuse the expression, but you're not here to be Kinderman's deputy. You're here to help Regan.
Oh, it's hard, Damien. It's so hard. It's actually sore. Heart and lungs. Gripe in the belly. But it's all just memory. How can memory make your stomach gripe? Like a cancer taking hold. Guilt, it's what it is.
Guilt about what?
Surviving. I came through it all. Here I still am. But I saw it all.
What did you see?
And I heard it all. Schnell, you Jewish rat. Avanti, communist weasel. Allez vite, gypsy scumbag. On the double shirt lifter. Move your ass, nigger. They herded us into this place. I knew it.
I knew it from when I was a kid. It used to be a gym. Boxing, you know. Jesus save us, the hoodlums that used to hang out there. But fighting was one way out of that slum. Or be a movie star. Or a priest, maybe. But they didn't have punch bags and ropes anymore. The only thing left from the old days were the cockroaches. Survivors, like me. No pennants and gloves on the walls.
Now they had meat hooks. And they had cattle prods, and they were laughing. How could they laugh, Dimmy? How could they douse a child in water and put 1,000 volts into her armpits and laugh while they were doing it?
What did you call me?
How can one human being do that to another? Why do they do it? Because they enjoy it? It looked like they did. It sounded like they did. Screaming and laughing all mixed up, and I heard it all, Dimmy.
Don't call me that.
There was this old woman. I used to see her selling clothes pegs and plastic flowers. Now here she was, down on her knees, praying and praying. With every bless me, there were bubbles of blood in her mouth.
Don't stop this.
No, I won't.
Stop it now.
No, too late.
It's too late to stop. We'll go on until the death. We'll kill you all. The piglet and you and the other one.
What other one?
Your brother.
I don't have a brother.
Your brother will be in pain. You'll share his pain. You'll meet the devil in him, in the jaws of hell, which is where you all belong. All hands on deck! It's coming on to blow! Batten down the hatches! Look lively, laddie! Can you not feel our timbers a-shiver? Put your back into it before we're sundered and sunk!
I must be kept out of drafts! The captain said so.
Two days, Joe. She lay there 2 days before they found her.
You did all you could, Damien.
Not enough.
What else could you have done?
I could have forced her out of that place. Made her come to Washington.
Made her? Forced her? Your mother was the most stubborn woman on earth.
She wouldn't even have a phone in the apartment. Apartment? Shithole. And she lay there 2 days.
Here. Another.
Actually, she was sitting in her usual chair with the radio on. Chivas Regal. How can you afford this stuff?
I can't. I stole it.
Father Dyer. Whiskey thief.
It was in the bottom drawer of the college president's desk. I mean, what an example to set. Our president drinking? So I relieved him of a great temptation. I am the good thief.
I think that might be blasphemy.
Forgive me, Father. And forgive me saying this. You look terrible.
My mother just died.
Before that, you looked terrible. Damien, what's happening in the MacNeil house? You can't tell me? Try to tell me?
I'll tell you this. When I got back from the funeral, I stood on the bridge out there, looked across the river. It was sunset. I used to do that a lot, stand there and watch the sunset. It was like communion for me. It was almost like bliss.
For me, it's the "Isn't It a Lovely Day" scene in Top Hat.
There's no bliss anymore, Joe. It's just dying fire going down into dirty water. There's no communion for me anymore.
Well, we could leave together.
What do you mean?
The priesthood. You because of shaky faith. Me for my own reasons.
And what are they?
Word has come down from the high echelons of the gay Politburo. Basic black is out. I reminded them of the subtle touch of a silver cross at the chest, but no, still frowned on.
You are a man of sorrows.
We're a sizable minority. Don't you sometimes thank God and St. Ignatius for the vow of celibacy? I mean, dating must be a nightmare these days. Everyone, boys and girls alike, they're all so fashion conscious. Frowning fashion fascisty. Well, that's enough booze for me. You too. Here, lie back.
Joe, this has to be said. I am a straight celibate.
I knew that the moment I met you. Now lie back and think of angels and ice cream.
What are you doing?
I'm taking off your shoes.
Father Dyer, shoe thief. Please thank the president for me, for the whiskey.
I'll do that. By the way, the Potomac is actually quite a clean river. And the flame wasn't dying, it's just that the earth turns, you see, and the sun seems to... Well, I'll give you some books on the subject. The light will be back tomorrow, almost certainly. Astronomy and the church are no longer enemies. So rejoice in the Lord, for praise is comely.
Praise the Lord, sing unto him.
Sing unto him a new song. Play skillfully.
For the word of the Lord is right. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made.
Good evening, Mr. Engstrom.
Lieutenant.
Been to another movie?
No, I have been on an errand for Mrs. MacNeil. Shall I tell her you are here? It is very late.
No need. It's you I came to see. About Burke Dennings.
I did not know the man well.
But he was abusive to you, was he not? 2 different people have told me that. One was at a party here. She says his behavior towards you that night, her word was abominable.
I am a patient man, Lieutenant. I know how to deal with abusive drunks.
I'm sure, so let's talk about another night. The night he was killed.
I have told you all I can.
Tell me this. At the Crest Theater, did you watch King Lear till the end? All 137 dreary minutes?
I would not say dreary, Lieutenant. Perhaps austere.
And you watched it all. And then you caught a bus just outside the theater, you got off at Wisconsin Avenue, then walked here, arriving at 9:30.
I have told you all this.
Mr. Engstrom, that night at the theater, there was a breakdown, a projection failure. The break lasted almost 20 minutes. If you watched till the end, the first bus you could have caught would not have reached Wisconsin Avenue until almost 10 o'clock. There's no way you could have been here by 9:30. Exactly 9:30, you glanced at your watch. That's what you told me. What do you have to tell me now? Mr. Engstrom, you have lied to me about your whereabouts on the night Dennings died. Where, in fact, were you?
I was at the movies.
Why were you fired from your employment with Dr. Halloran of Beverly Hills?
I'm sure you know.
Yes, I do. You were fired for stealing narcotics from his pharmacy. You've been doing that for months. At first ordinary pilfering and then forging prescriptions. But Dr. Halloran dropped all charges. And within a fortnight, you were working for Mrs. MacNeil. So the good doctor must have given you an excellent reference. Why did he do that?
You must ask him.
I did. He says he can't say unless you give him permission to speak. Or he's served with a subpoena to appear in the same court as you. Does he have your permission?
Are you going to arrest me?
Good night, Mr. Engstrom.
Dimmy, why?
Why you do this, Dimmy? Why you do this to me? I'm here 2 days. Why make me sit here 2 days? And the radio plays bad music, filthy music. Who changed the station? There are rats, Dimmy. The rats are coming in. I hate rats. On the floor, the walls, there are cockroaches. I hate them even more. So many, rustling and clicking. And Mrs. Corelli's cats, all 18 of them. Can you smell them? Can you hear them? Damien? They're hungry. Listen, hear them at the door. Scratching and hissing and scratching to get in.
Your friend doesn't look well. Not well at all. I know his mother died recently.
That's right.
And he took it badly, as a son should. Is the coffee as good as I promised, Father Dyer?
It's good.
Are you sure you won't try the cheesecake? It's the best in the city.
No thanks, Lieutenant.
Father Karras is too thin. He's haggard, and that's a strong word. The shadows around the eyes, the low shoulders. Is this priest a beaten fighter, I wonder? You don't say much, Father.
Well, you haven't asked a question except about coffee and cheesecake.
Well, I'll tell you right out. I'm a man who likes talking to a man who likes to talk.
Sidney Greenstreet in the Maltese Falcon.
Excellent. You rise in my estimation.
So is this to be a movie quiz?
Father, there are worse ways to pass the time, believe me. I know. I'm a homicide detective. Maybe you have a question for me.
Well, you seem to know a lot about Damien Karras' appearance. Have you been watching him? Having him watched?
I have given no such order.
Have you been watching the MacNeil house?
Which Father Karras visits often. What's happening in that house, Father Dyer?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Damien?
Please, Father. Do not think I'm coaxing you to say anything behind your friend's back. I know you'll tell him everything I ask. Everything you say.
I know you know. You want me to tell him.
And you've nothing to say about why he might be visiting there.
I can tell you something about Damien Karras. Soon after I was ordained, I went through what you call a crisis of faith. I reacted by becoming...
Becoming what, Father?
A comedian. I was Groucho Marx, I was W.C. Fields. Sometimes, Lieutenant, I was Jerry Lewis.
May your God forgive you.
I talked smart and I talked irreverent, and always I talked fast, I gibbered, I frolicked. And Damien took it all. Sometimes he laughed, sometimes he smiled, sometimes he told me to shut the hell up, but he took it for months.
He saved your faith?
He saved my sanity, my life. What I'm saying is...
Oh, I know what you're saying. Whatever he's doing in that house, which you insist you don't know, you also insist he's trying to do good. But here's the thing, Father. You're sure Father Karras is there to do good. What if he's making a colossal mistake?
Do something, Karras. Don't just sit there. You can't make up your Romish but rational mind.
You just cannot reach a resolution, can you, old boy? Your conscience is a coward. All resolution sicklied over with pale thought.
Pale thought, that's...
Of course, it's not just resolution you lack, is it, my Jesuit juggler? Not to worry, you're far from alone. You know why there are so many religious fanatics, Damien? I shall tell you. Because there's so little faith.
Who are you?
Who am I?
I'm sure we haven't met before.
You really feel that? Well, beg to differ. I'm utterly sick of looking at you.
Sicklied over with pale thought. That's from Hamlet.
Almost. I don't think I got it quite exact. It's been so long. I've been too long in exile, and I'm so damn tired. Jaded might be the word.
Will you tell me your name?
Fact is, old chap, I may have squeezed out some ghastly Hollywood dung in my time, but I used to be steeped in the fine old classics, steeped from scrotum to the old grey matter. Shakespeare, Dickens, P.G. Woodhouse. And you don't know my name.
Well, I'm not sure.
But I'll wager if I was some big-titted starlet, you'd know my name.
Are you Bert Dennings?
I'm reminded of dear old John Gilbert. Someone came up to him in a bar one day and said, "Didn't you used to be John Gilbert?"
You're English. You're a movie director.
Please, just for me. Say film, not bloody movie. Where are you going?
Mrs. MacNeil,
Yes?
could you come up here, please?
Just a moment.
You're not bringing up the sow, are you? You'll only agitate the piglet.
Bert Dennings is dead.
Oh, break it to me gently, why don't you? Well, if you must have her, then have her, we must. Let's give her a nice welcome. A song, yes, what do you think she might like? What about this golden oldie? All things bright and
What is it, Father? Does she need changing again?
all creatures great
Mrs.
and
MacNeil,
small,
her voice.
all things wild and wonderful.
An English accent. She claims to be male, a movie director. Does she sound anything like Bert Dennings?
God Almighty.
All muscles ripped and shred.
All sinews snapped and twisted, and you left back
Stop this.
instead. All things bright and
You are not Regan.
all beautiful as
Stop this, Father.
mud. Arteries
I think you should go downstairs
tendons
again.
all bright and slick with
Go back to hell where you belong. You're not my daughter.
Mrs. MacNeil!
Crawl into your pit and you evil bitch. If no one else can finish you, I will.
Mrs. MacNeil!
Someone has to do it. Someone has to throw this thing to hell.
Made all of those. He gave us
Get rid of
eyes
it,
to
Father.
see them, and lips that we might tell how great is God Almighty, who has made all things well.
Oh my, but I did enjoy that. You can still have wicked fun when you're dead, Father, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
How did you die?
In your vocation, do you find yourself asking many ridiculous questions like that? That's it. Sit down. Put your feet up like me and we'll dream up your next move. Maybe what you need is outside help. You're really all alone in this, aren't you, Jimmy? Because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. One does love a bit of the old King James. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. Is
that a language?
It does have the cadence of language.
You don't know?
Aramaic, perhaps, which Jesus spoke. Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? At last, room service.
Come in.
Bailiffs, maybe. Are we to be evicted? Exorcised?
Hello? Is anyone here? Mrs. MacNeil? Are you there, Mrs. MacNeil? Mrs. MacNeil? Who's there? Sharon? Billy? Where is everyone? Is anyone here? Billy! Carl! Hello? Hello, this is the MacNeil house. Who is that? Where the hell is everyone? In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer as I have overcome the world. Amen. Oh, you're really all alone in this, aren't you, Demi? Hello. Sharon. Mrs. MacNeil. Is there no one here? Is there someone in there? Hello?
Hello, Father.
What are you doing down here?
I've been trying to find my father. Oh, I didn't mean you. My real one, Dad. Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something?
You should be in bed.
I have to see myself. Oh my gosh, I'm so thin. My hair is a mess. How did I get to be so thin?
You haven't been well, not eating properly.
But I look... Am I going to die?
No.
You're going to help me?
Yes. Regan, how did you get down here? How did you get out of the straps?
Sorry, Father. The devil made me do it.
I'm sorry, Father. I did not mean to wake you.
Billy? Where is everyone?
Sharon is upstairs with the girl. Mrs. MacNeil has gone to bed. Carl is in the kitchen. Even when he dropped the pan, he did not wake. You just walked on. I have been watching you.
You mean I was... But I never walk in my sleep.
Maybe never before. I know it is wrong to wake someone sleepwalking. Elvira, my daughter, she used to do it. Strangest thing, in her sleep she had no limp. She walked straight. It was like a strange miracle.
Father Karras? I'm sorry, Father. I didn't want to wake you, but you really should see this.
Oh, what is it?
Regan, I was changing her. Look at this, here, on her tummy. See? She couldn't have done that herself. The straps are secure. And it doesn't look like scratches anyway.
No.
Help me. It says help me.
Yes.
Can you help her, Father?
Thanks, Sharon.
You sure you want it black?
I'm sure.
More milk would be better. You need sleep.
Oh, I need coffee. It does happen, you know, the writing on the skin. There have been mystics who've been able to make it happen. In a trance, their unconscious mind somehow controls the differential flow of blood to the skin, raising it up. It's not supernatural.
Regan MacNeil, the 12-year-old mystic, who can also make picture frames fall off the wall and drawers open and shut, all without getting out of bed.
Why don't you go to bed, Sharon?
I need more than sleep, Father.
What?
I need to get out of here.
What do you mean, for good? Leave Mrs. MacNeil?
Chris will still have Carl and Philly, and she'll have you. I'm sorry, but I don't think I can take any more. My boyfriend and I have talked about getting married.
You want to leave to get married?
No, it's not like that. I mean, we haven't set a date or anything. But... this is going to sound crazy. It's the smells.
Regan smells?
It's always diarrhea, you know? When she's sick, and she has a lot, it's putrid. So is her breath. And she's constantly breaking wind. Her smell fills the room. It's like death. And I feel if I don't get away, I'll never get rid of it. It'll be on my clothes, on my hair, and on my skin, on my own breath. And I'll never get married. I'll be scared that when I'm with my husband, he'll smell her on me.
I am so bored. Why can I not have some lively visitors? I'm not well. I need cheering up. All I have is you sitting there in a sulk. You never even bring grapes.
I thought you had a lot of company.
It speaks.
You told me you were Legion. You even have the real Regan in there somewhere.
You call that skinny piglet company? Oh, she wasn't bad at first. Juicy enough. But now she's a frazzle. Skin and bone and gutted of all sense of humor.
I had a dream about Regan.
I know you did.
What did I dream?
Karras, things are tedious enough without discussing your dreams. I mean, how juvenile.
But you said you knew I dreamed about her. How do you know?
Because I know everything.
Because you're the devil.
That's a blasphemous thing to say. Wash your mouth out.
One of the first things you said to me was, I am the devil.
Well, if I did, and I don't admit it, you might well be trying to trick me. But if I did, Satan forgive me. Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. I really haven't been well.
Let me talk to Regan, the real Regan. You speak sometimes in something like her voice, but that's not her, is it?
Oh, I know. Me and my voices. What am I to do? I can't help it.
If you let me talk to her, it might help all of us. You once warned me against exorcism, but I think that's what you want. The challenge.
Yes! Oh, yes, please. You and your brother make a decent tussle out of it.
I told you before I don't have a brother.
Oh, ye of little faith.
Regan might convince me an exorcism is worth attempting.
I don't know why you people want her back anyway. In some of your human cultures, if they got her back in the state she's in now, they'd kill her. Family honor. Not that there's been much of that in this family. Oh, you look so crestfallen, diddums dimmy. So hungry. Are you sure?
Oh, I'm sure.
Really, really?
Please.
On the Psychology and Pathology of Occult Phenomena by C.G. Jung. On Simulated Insanity by the same author.
I'm really busy here, Joe.
I can see that. This is quite a collection. The Satanic Mask by H.T.F. Rhodes. Witchcraft and Demonology by R.H. Robbins. Saints preserve us, you've even got Aleister Crowley. Don't you need a dispensation to read him?
Joe, what do you want?
Well, I really fancy a lemon drop. Got any?
No.
But you do have James's Varieties of Religious Experience and The Devils of Loudun by Huxley.
Joe!
At least you have the complete Roman Ritual. That could come in handy. Listen, forget the lemon drops. You know what I really need? A drink. And so do you. Let's go out.
I have to finish this.
Finish what?
A dissertation.
Demonology? Satanism? Simulated insanity? Is it a dissertation on possession?
Joe, sorry to
Is
be
this
blunt.
about Chris MacNeil, about her daughter?
It's about something really important. Get out of here, Joe. Now, please.
You need help.
What? I need to see a shrink, do I?
Damien,
Have you forgotten I am a shrink? This is more important than you can imagine, and there's a life at stake. Now get out of here!
Damien, calm down. I don't mean you need psychiatric...
Well, thank you, old buddy.
I mean the church. I mean guidance. At least speak to the college president. I think you'll find we don't do this crap anymore.
Is that a disapproving look?
No.
Good. Because Uncle Jack Daniels and Mr. Marlborough are as close as I get to Holy Communion.
We have to talk about Regan's symptoms.
Symptoms? You call all hell breaking loose a symptom?
You have to understand, for a case of possession to be considered genuine, the church demands that very strict criteria are met. If they're not, no exorcism is permitted.
What else can all this mayhem be? She makes doors bang open and shut. She topples furniture in another room.
It's called psychokinesis. It happens mostly around disturbed adolescents. You may know it as poltergeist activity.
I know it well. And what about the way she talks? The words she uses, the things she knows. No 12-year-old could know all that.
That is baffling, astonishing. But it's not supernatural. It happens. In Regan, it's as extreme as any I've read about, yes. But the phenomenon does exist in the brain, in nature.
The writing on the skin.
That's to do with manipulation of blood flow. Again, a natural phenomenon.
Where? In Transylvania?
Have you called her father?
Oh, he's in Europe. The bastard didn't even call her on her last birthday. You're here to drive a devil out, not invite another one
Mrs.
in.
MacNeil, the kind of behavior Regan's been displaying, I said it's often found in disturbed adolescents. The children are often in disturbed family situations.
Not that bullshit again.
They feel rage, guilt, confusion.
Jesus Christ almighty! Guilt? You think she feels guilty about her father and me? She's guilty because she killed Burke Dennings! Come in.
I am sorry, Mrs. MacNeil.
It's all right, Billy. I got a bit upset. It happens all the time.
Carl and I, there is something we must say.
Oh, let me guess. You both want to follow Sharon out of this madhouse.
We stay until you ask us to leave, madam.
It is my husband, really, who has something to tell you. Carl?
Go ahead, Carl. We have no secrets from Father Karras. Carl, you're a quiet man, but I've never seen you lost for words before.
It is the policeman. He says we must tell you.
Kinderman?
Yes, Kinderman.
He was in his car, stopped in the street. He sat in the front, Carl sat in the back. Carl? The street where the car was.
What about it?
Mortimer Street.
It is where our daughter lives. Elvira is not dead. Carl was taking money to her. I did not know. He thought he was saving me. He's a great fool. He has been trying to save me for years.
Every time I go there, I see cockroaches on the stairs. Twice I've seen a rat. When she opens the door, she never undoes the safety chain. And
Sit down, Carl.
when she reaches out for the money, I see the scabs and punctures on her arm. If I mention her mother or a clinic, she slams the door. That is where I was the night Mr. Dennings died. Not at the movies.
Kinderman says Elvira must go to a clinic. If she does not, the law will take her somewhere else.
Maybe I have said too much now. I apologize. I confess, I took a glass of brandy from the bottle in the kitchen. I will say no more. May we go, madam?
Of course. Good luck, both of you. And thank you for staying with me. Have another brandy, Carl.
Will I clean up the broken glass?
No, that's all right. I'll get it. Good God. Well, that's us told. Kinderman won't let go.
I know Mortimer Street. It's a war zone. It hasn't seen a taxi cab in 10 years. What's this?
It's the book I told you about. Witchcraft.
Oh, you found it. Well, it looks pretty basic stuff. I doubt if Regan could have gleaned much from this.
I found it under her bed. Look at the edges of the pages. See, a strip torn off every second page or so has a strip torn off the edge.
And?
Burke did that all the time. With scripts, newspapers, books, he'd roll the strips up and chew them. He was in her room. I told Kinderman he wasn't, or I said he'd had no reason to be there, but he was.
Mrs. MacNeil, the way Dennings was killed.
Abnormal strength, a sign of possession. And she told me she did it. In his own voice.
She tells lies, and that sounds like a lie to me.
I hope you're right. Because I'm terrified she'll kill someone else.
Come on now.
Even if you are right, even if it was a lie, much more of this and they'll put her away. Since all this started, that's what I fought against. I told them over and over, you will not put my daughter away. If her father was here, she'd have been in a padded cell months ago. So what now?
Well, you can introduce me to Uncle Jack, a large one. And there are still the tapes, the Language Institute.
This is some mighty weird shit, Damien.
I know.
You want to tell me what you're up to?
No, not yet, Frank.
Your Jesuit lips are sealed. All right. You gave me 2 tapes. This one.
The man lifted me up and put me in the saddle. I was so high. It was so amazing and high. It was like I was flying. Can I have a horse, Dad?
And this. You told me both voices came out of the same mouth, right?
Right. 6 months apart.
Well, I would say these could be different personalities.
Could be?
It's possible. I wouldn't swear to it in court. You look disappointed. Then you asked me if the second voice was speaking anything like a real language. That I could demonstrate in court. It's speaking English.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Listen again. Now, listen to it backward.
Backward?
Every sentence, every word and phrase is backward. Listen. That's you.
The blood is warm and it sings. No more cold, no more nothing. Stay and play. Play with the blood, play with the flesh, play with the piglet and the priest and the sow and all of them. Wallow and play. Laugh at them. They keep the piglet alive. They keep the blood living and singing and warm, and they let us be warm and live and sing. Laugh and play with them all. They are nothing, and we are many.
You are convinced it is a genuine case?
It does seem to meet many of the conditions set out in the ritual.
All right. I'll speak to the bishop. Show him your report.
Thank you, Father President.
If this does go ahead, we have to find an exorcist.
Well, I know the background, Father. I've met the girl many times.
No, Damien, we need someone experienced. I believe Merrin is around.
Lancaster Merrin?
You know him?
I've never met him, but maybe we are more the sons of earth than we are children of heaven.
Maybe we are mere human beings who can only glimpse the spirit.
But might we not instead be spiritual beings who undergo the experience of being human?
From God and Evolution. I never did finish that book. Too much science for me. He's getting on in years, and I'm not sure about his health, but he must be all right. He's just back from Iraq, digging up tombs in that heat, and he does have experience.
I didn't know that. It would be an honor to meet him.
Well, as you say, you do know the background, and there should be a psychiatrist present. You could assist Father Merrin. But you should know this. The last exorcism he carried out was in Africa, 15 years ago. It lasted weeks. It almost killed him.
Would you like a little brandy in your coffee, Father?
Oh, I should not. The doctors say I should not, but thank God my will is weak. Excellent, thank you. You have everything we need, Damien?
A cassock and a purple stove for you, 2 surplices and holy water.
And the ritual?
2 copies.
Good. Please remember, Damien, to avoid conversation with the demon. It is a liar, and it will mix truth with lies to confuse and divide us. Conversation is very dangerous.
The demon. You say it so...
Matter of fact. It is a matter of fact, Mrs. MacNeil. It is what we are facing.
Should I give you some of the history, Father?
History?
Well, the personalities Regan has shown, I've encountered 3.
There is only one.
I want to see its face, Father Karras, when you walk in and say, "Here's my big brother, he'll fix you."
My big brother?
Sorry.
I don't mind if Damien does not.
Mrs. MacNeil, I really don't think you should go in there with us.
Father Merrin.
I'm sure Father Karras knows best. Does your daughter have a middle name?
Teresa.
How lovely that is. Regan Teresa MacNeil.
And just where the hell have you been?
Our Father who art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
Answer me.
Thy kingdom come.
Answer!
Thy will be done on earth
as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
I know.
and forgive us the trespasses.
I know where
As
you've
we
been.
forgive those who trespass against us.
One of your retreats,
lead us
hiding
not
out,
into temptation.
head low and ass on velvet cushions. Pen in one hand and Hershey bar in the other.
You enemy of the
Doodling
faith,
another humbugging
for
book.
the human race,
Always as
begetter
easy
of
as
death,
doodling to you.
root
That's
of
why
all
you do
evil
it.
And vice,
And because they
fomenter
pay
of
you.
discord,
Give you
author
medals and
of
badges
pain
and lavish dinners
sorrow,
and first-class travel to another award
on.
and another lavish dinner
on in
and
the
more
name of the
money.
Father and of the
Always
Son
the
and of
fucking
the Holy
folding
Spirit.
stuff and
Big
your
on.
lazy ass
Big
on
on.
cushions.
Big
You
on.
make me sick.
Deliver
The
us,
stuff
O
just comes
Lord,
dribbling
from
out of
all
you like
sin.
loose shit.
From your wrath.
Book
From
after
Satan
book
and
of
provided
stinking
death.
drivel.
snares of
What
the
about
devil.
this from your shitty work in progress?
All ill will.
In living evolving matter, the miracle of the human brain shines and grows until it reaches incandescence.
From everlasting
How long did it take you to get that one down? As long as it took me to quote the manure? You're a fake, Merrin, and a lazy fake. I may be the author of pain and sorrow, but I'm the real thing, and I put in real work.
Damien, the holy water. Begone.
In the name of the Father,
Still trying that
Begone.
old
in the
trick.
name of the Son,
The
Begone.
in the
papist
name of the Holy
piss.
Spirit.
Might as well climb up on the
Begone
bed,
from
lift
this
up your
servant of
party
God.
frock, and piss on me
Regan
yourself.
MacNeil. God the Father
Hopeless.
command you. God the Son commands
Pathetic.
you. God the Holy Spirit commands
You're past
you.
it, and you're losing.
Lord, heed my prayer.
Push over.
Lord is with you.
Pansy, push
May he also
over.
be with you.
This time you lose.
God, look down in pity on your servant, Regan Teresa MacNeil, now in the toils of the unclean spirit who befuddles and stupefies the human mind, throws it into terror and panic. Repel, O Lord, the devil's power. Break asunder his snares and traps. Graciously grant, O Lord, that the evil spirit who has terrorized us may itself retreat in terror and defeat, so that this servant of yours, Regan Teresa MacNeil, may sincerely and steadfastly render you the service which is your due through Christ our Lord. By the sign of your name, let your servant Regan Teresa MacNeil be protected in body and spirit. In the name of the Father.
Get your stinking fingers off me! Don't touch me! You won't scribble the sign of your damned God on me!
In you a fortified tower. Damien. A fortified tower. Respond, Damien. Damien, the response.
In the face of the enemy.
God's symbol.
The enemy have no power
An
over
instrument of torture.
And the son of iniquity.
Damien,
Lord, send her
don't
aid
envy that
from your
creature.
holy place.
Saintliness,
Watch over her
faith,
from sorrow.
prose style and medals and money.
My prayer, and
He's a
let my
fake,
cry be heard by
steeped
you.
in sloth and
The
avarice.
Lord be with you. It's all right, Damien. Finish your cigarette, then we can go back in.
Father, those words she quoted, were they really from your notebook? An unpublished book?
I wasn't paying attention. Even if they were, it wouldn't matter.
What does matter? The fact that the front legs of the bed were rising up and thumping down on the floor. The chest of drawers moving by itself.
Damien, there may come a time when you and I can discuss what we see and hear in there, but not yet. It is all lies and misdirection and illusion, and we have only our faith to defend us against these things. The Holy Resurrection.
By your wondrous
Do you still
ascension,
dream about
by the
Vienna,
coming of the
Merrin?
Holy Spirit,
Those days of your
Yes,
youth
but
you spent to the tune of
Of the day of
Haydn and
judgment,
Mozart? The
we
opera
sinners,
house, plush box
all
and
beg
men's
you to
lavatory,
hear us.
both. You gave and
Lord,
you
heed
took
my
in
prayer.
both,
let my
giving
cry
and
be heard by
taking
you.
with both
The Lord
hands,
be with you.
your mouth
also with
and your
you.
blessed
God and
behind.
Father,
Oh,
graciously
you
grant
tried,
us
I
help
know you
against
tried,
this
to give
unclean
yourself to the
spirit
Lord.
tormenting
But
this
often as not you'd
creature
give to
of
some
yours,
blonde,
William
blooming
Peter
boy
Blatty.
instead. From your knees on the
I
floor of the
adjure
cathedral
you,
to kneeling in a
ancient
reeking
serpent,
cubicle
by the
on the
judge
railway
of the
station.
living and the dead.
My, oh my, how lost you were in those Vienna woods.
Damien, if you'll excuse me a little while.
Of course, Father.
Don't run away yet. There's work to be done here. This is just our first week, and I want this show to run and run. Loser! So, little Damien, alone at last.
I adjure you not by my weakness, but by the might of the Holy Spirit to depart from the servant of God.
Want me to do the bed trick again?
Do not think of despising this command, because you know me to be a great sinner.
Damn good, eh?
It is God himself who commands you.
And the bed didn't even move that time. I'm tempted to up the ante here by having Merrin come back in and find you lying spread-eagled there with blood in your eyes and your mouth.
Depart, seducer full of lies and cunning.
I could do that, you know.
Depart, abominable creature.
You haven't slept for days, have
Give
you?
way, monster. Give way to Christ. He will strip you of
If you
power
drank
and
it all,
lay
it
waste
was
your
alcohol.
kingdom. He will cast you forth into outer darkness.
Are you hungry?
The Father commands you.
You were a hungry boy,
The
right?
Son commands
Proper
you.
little glutton you
The
were.
Holy Spirit
Remember the
commands
mashed
you to get-
potatoes? Your mother had spent her last dime on those potatoes, with melted butter and black pepper mixed through, and you ate the lot. All that was left for her was a bit of hard cheese. How you despised the old girl.
I love my mother.
That why you left her to rot in a rat-infested hovel?
You know nothing.
I know too much.
You're ignorant. It's all bluff and double bluff and lies.
Damien, go downstairs.
I'm sorry, Father.
Go outside and get some air.
I understand, Damien. Love and hate, all twisted together like knotted guts.
Good evening, Father.
Lieutenant,
That's a beautiful sunset.
I used to stand here a lot watching it. It was a kind of communion, a kind of bliss.
Well, far be it from me to interrupt a man's bliss.
Don't worry, all gone.
I wanted to ask your advice about a case. Hypothetical only. It's about a house.
A hypothetical house.
Right, and a hypothetical crime. Let's say there were 5 people in this house, and it's possible, only possible, mind, that one of them was involved in this crime. Then 4 of those people are excluded from suspicion. That leaves 1. But that 1 is a 12-year-old girl. This girl, and no other explanation, is at the heart of the mystery. She's a mystery herself. No one ever sees her. Then a priest starts to visit the house. Then another man turns up. He's not only a priest, he's a writer, a scientist. He's famous everywhere. The mystery deepens. You know what I'd like to do with this case? I'd like to put it in the hands of a higher authority.
Maybe it's there already.
If I could only be sure, I'd leave it there. I'll think about it a couple more days. Then I may need a warrant to see this mysterious girl.
The hypothetical girl.
Couple more days, Father. Then we'll talk again.
Vultures! Bastards! Black carrion bastards!
Keep out of her own, Father!
My lord, there's a fortified tower in the face of the enemy.
Enemy? I'm your fucking nemesis, Merrin. You're losing, and you can stick that needle in your eye, Dr. Bogus!
Just try to hold her still!
Still? Like this? I can do that. I can do still. Who are you? Why are you in my room?
Deliver us from evil.
Oh, don't. Please. Help me.
Please, Regan, just lie still.
Let me go.
We're trying to help you.
You're trying to kill me. Poison me.
Father, can you hold her for a moment?
Don't.
I need to get a swab.
Who are you? What is going on? Mother, make them let me go.
Mrs. MacNeil, I need to give her an injection. Will you give me a swab?
Mother, who are these people? What are they trying to do?
Right, now quickly now, you swab. It's good. Good.
That's so Regan, babe.
Mrs. MacNeil, do you think you could stop that music?
I'm sorry, Mother. I know that's your record. I know it shouldn't be in my room, and I'm sorry about the mess in here. I didn't do it. Honest, I didn't. It's all right.
I had to give her Librium the way she was struggling.
May I wipe her face?
Of course.
Heart, I had to calm her down.
Mother, who are these men?
They're trying to help you, Regan.
This one said that before. In the sitting room. He said he wouldn't let me die.
The sitting room?
I'm so thin. I saw myself in the mirror down there and I looked like a ghost.
That was a dream.
Well, I was wide awake.
No, it was my dream. I dreamed I met her. It didn't happen.
Yes, it did. I was there. He's lying.
Mrs. MacNeil, she's quieter now. May we go outside?
Oh, don't go. Don't leave me here with them.
I'm never far away, babe. I promise.
Mrs. MacNeil, the drug could not work so far.
What do you mean?
She chose to calm down. It chose to do so.
It? The demon?
Yes, that was not your daughter speaking. I have known this demon before. It's very strong, very clever.
I pray to Christ that you're right, Father.
Yes, do that.
Go downstairs now.
Yeah.
This time, I couldn't tell. Before I knew it wasn't her, I just knew. But now, I'm not sure.
We will proceed very gently.
We'll call you the moment we need you again.
Please, be sure. Be gentle.
I promise. Father, we don't know how quickly the drug would work. She's so weak. She feels strong, the way she was struggling. But her heart...
I understand, Damien. I know you still have doubts. Every symptom she displays may have a rational explanation. I understand. I'm a man of science myself, but so many symptoms and so extreme. So many and so extreme that you yourself asked the church to authorize an exorcism.
I asked if the church was convinced of the need for one.
And you will continue it with me.
Is this the same demon you faced 15 years ago?
In Africa, a boy in a Nigerian village. He'd been very weak with fever, and then... Yes, it's the same.
A village in Nigeria, a 12-year-old girl in Georgetown. Why? What's the purpose of it?
I think sometimes that the one who is possessed is not the real target. We are, the observers. The aim is to convince us that we are vile creatures, unworthy of the love of God. To make us despair of our own humanity.
To convince us we're not spiritual beings who undergo the experience of being human.
It is disconcerting to hear one's early work quoted, but thank you, Damien. Now, will you summon up all the faith you have and go back in there with me?
I look terrible and my voice is weird, but that's because I've been ill. And she didn't know me. I mean, she called me Regan. She even called me babe, but I don't think she was for real. Maybe I'm going mad. Could I be ill in that way? Are you a real doctor?
How is she?
The pulse is fast and it's feeble.
The stethoscope looks funny with those clothes.
Rest. She really needs to sleep.
There's no way I could sleep.
Can you give her anything?
No, it might. I may already have. Maybe we should talk outside.
No, Damien, that is not necessary.
I can hear you outside anyway.
If I give her anything else, she might go into a coma.
Not every word, but I know what he thinks. He thinks this is all about him. What happens to me doesn't matter. He's the real target.
Her blood pressure.
It's because he's proud. It's one of these men who glide around like they're saints, but they're just men. They just know how to dress the part. The movie business is full of them. The church, too?
Damien?
Sorry. If she doesn't get rest, she might suffer cardiac exhaustion.
Are you proud? Dr. Damien, is it?
Father, she's in real danger.
Well, then I should be in hospital, and you'll have to tell the real doctors about all the drugs you've given me. Are you proud of that? Is your mother proud of you?
My mother?
Damien,
Or does she just say, why the fancy dress and what's with the stethoscope?
let us begin again, Damien.
Father.
Is the danger immediate?
Well, no.
Then please let us proceed quietly. You can check her again in a few minutes.
I'll still be wide awake with all that druggy stuff inside me.
Lord, heed my prayer.
Mutter all you like, I won't sleep.
Damien, please respond.
And the whole house
Lord,
can sleep.
heed my prayer.
Let my cry be heard by you.
The Lord be with you.
May he also be with you.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done on earth.
I'll stay up all night and all day and all the next night. I've done it before.
We cannot allow that, Father. Father?
I can be a real night bird when I want to be.
Father, are you all right?
Damien, could you do something for me? My overcoat downstairs somewhere. In the left-hand pocket, there's a tin of pills.
More drugs.
Please fetch them for me.
Sure. Father Merrin's coat, where is it?
In the closet, in the hall, maybe?
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, here on the chair. Is this it? How is the girl, Father Karras?
They are aspirin.
They will help?
Nitroglycerin. His heart.
Give to go, my love!
God, look down in pity on your servant.
He went down on his knees. I thought he was going to say a prayer, then he just fell over.
As in Adam all die, in Christ all shall be made alive.
Is he dead?
Yes.
He's really dead. On my bedroom floor. I'm sorry, was he your friend?
I only met him a few days ago. But he was a very great man, a scientist, a wonderful writer, a faithful priest. He wrote once, "We are spiritual beings. We undergo being human." Sorry, I'm sitting on your bed.
That's all right.
Thank you. I'll just sit for a minute.
Fine. Then I suppose you should send for... Who do you send for? The funeral people?
An ambulance first, and the church.
And my mother.
Of course. Regan?
Uh-huh.
How do you feel?
I'm not sure. Weird. Kinda... muddled up.
Me too.
Like after the flu. Really bad flu.
Would it be all right if I examine you, check your heart and so on? Would you rather I called your mother first?
No, that's okay. Get it over, then call her.
Definitely, right away. So, just breathe normally. Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Let me look in your eyes. Open them wide. Excellent. That's clear and bright.
Am I being very ill?
And very brave.
Was there a bird in the room?
A bird? No, I don't think so.
A lizard? Maybe? It's all muddled. Like a dream. I do remember my hair needs to be washed and fixed, but I don't remember being brave. I know Dad always said I should try to be. He's in Italy. He's going to bring me back a horse. I'm gonna call it Brave.
I think you're a sleepy girl, Regan.
Do you know what Carl said to me once? He said, the two best things in the world are courage and compassion.
Carl's a wise man. They're the best of our saving graces.
This is really weird.
What is it?
We're chatting and there is a dead man on the floor.
Right, I'll fetch your mother. I'll just go to the door and call her. I won't go out of the room. Father Merrin had courage.
It's funny. I keep thinking I've seen him before somewhere.
Well, he was quite famous. Maybe you saw his picture in a magazine, or even on television.
No, it's somewhere else. Somewhere, hot. He was praying then as well. And there was a boy, a naked boy, a black boy.
Regan.
His skin was so black it had a kind of blue shine. It glistened, it gleamed like a plum.
No.
Africa.
Please.
And now the black boy's dead in Africa and the priest is dead on my floor. Really, really weird. You should kneel down now.
Why?
You know why.
No more, please.
Just one more story. It's about my mother. It was at this party and she was talking to a priest. Actually, it was your friend, Joe Dyer. And she's drunk and she's waving her glass and her cigarette about. And she says, "Look at all the evil in the world. There has to be a devil." She's talking like this to a priest who went to all the good schools. Poor Joe. I don't know if he thought she was funny or embarrassing. Both, I suppose. Just a drunk actress. But I knew better than that, and I'm only 12, and I've missed a lot of school. I was embarrassed because she's an idiot. If the devil is real, she says, then there must be a real God. That's why there's so much good in the world. But you're not an idiot, are you, Damien? You know better, too. I'm real, you're real, and that's it. Are you shaking? You are, you're shaking. God, you really should kneel down. I think you're a sleepy boy, Timmy. Come on, kneel down. Oh! You hit me! Don't!
You bastard!
My hair! Don't pull my hair!
You bitch, you son of a bitch!
That's so
What the hell you are!
You're leaning on me!
He knew!
My shoulders!
He knew he was risking his life facing you again!
I did it!
I'll kill you right now! What happens then? What happens if I break your neck right now? What happens, you bitch?
I want my mother!
Liar! What happens if I strangle you? Where do you go then? Where do you run and hide? You gutless loser! Loser! Liar! Liar! Coward! A sick village boy! An old man! And a 12-year-old girl! That's the best you can do! That's all you can handle! Well, how about me, huh? Something bigger! Something stronger! Come on! Come into me! Come on if you can! You! Sickening! Gutless loser! You come into me!
Yes, Damien, yes, at last. The wreathed trellis of a working brain, and how your blood is warm and singing. Now, stand still. Look there. See her? See the piglet? Look at her, Damien. Stand still and look. What does she think she sees? Glorious wings unfold, a reptilian smile? Kill her. You want, you need, you must. Ah, the mighty thud of a strong man's heart. Get those strong thumbs of yours in the corners of her mouth and rip her face apart. You've wanted to do that to someone since you were 9. Do it now. Rid us of the husk of her. Stand still and listen. You want, you need, you must. And we won't stop there. You and I will make this house the most famous bloody shambles in America. Begin with the piglet. Kill her, Damien. Damien. No. No, Damien. Do not. Damien! No!
How is the girl?
She seems all right. Weak, withdrawn. She She says she remembers nothing.
That's good. That's a mercy. I wanted to say goodbye to Mrs. MacNeil, but I just missed them.
Yes, back to L.A. So what now, Lieutenant?
Me? I'm off the case. The high offices of your church and the high offices of my department will decide between them what happened. About Denning's murder, my guess is they'll decide it wasn't a murder after all.
And Damien?
My guess on that. His doubts about his faith, his guilt about his mother. The girl almost died under his care, and he'd hardly slept or eaten for days. Now Merrin was dead.
Despair and guilt. Suicide.
There's no doubt Father Karras went through the window and down there. They found him down there. Only a yard or two from where Denning's ended up. Uncanny.
Yes. I got to him before the ambulance arrived.
I didn't know that. You were there by chance.
He was still alive. He couldn't speak, but he opened his eyes. And it wasn't guilt or despair I saw in them. It was something like joy. Triumph.
I know how dear a friend he was to you.
I loved him.
Shalom Aleichem, Father Dyer.
Peace be with you, Lieutenant.
Father, you like movies. Well, I get passes. In fact, I have 2 for the Crest tomorrow night. Would you like to go with me? They're showing Casablanca, which, as we all know, is perfection.
Well, Bergman and Bogart are great, but I can't help thinking they should have stuck with the original cast.
As Ilsa Ann Sheridan, and in the pot of Rick, Ronald Reagan.
Excellent. You rise in my estimation.
Father, give me the last line. You don't have to do the Bogart voice, but do the line.
Lieutenant, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
The Exorcist by William P. Blatty was dramatized by Robert Forrest. Karras was played by Robert Glenister, the Demon by Alexandra Matthey, Regan by Lydia Wilson, Chris by Teresa Gallagher, Kinderman by Carl Johnson, Dyer by Brian Dick, Carl by Gerard McDermott, Villy by Christine Absalom, The President by Paul Stonehouse, Dr. Klein by Ben Crow, Dr. Bowden by Sean Murray, Mary by Joanna Brooks, and Sharon by Hannah Wood. Music and sound design is by Gary C. Newman. The Exorcist is a BBC Scotland production, directed by Gaynor MacFarlane.